Hi good people, my name's Titus, and in the last video we set up the health system for our camera so we have a way to destroy it and play our Niagara smoke effect. Today we'll be working on part 9 of our camera system by creating some UI widgets and adding some sound effects to add a bit of life to our game. So let's get right into it. Alright, so I think the first thing we'll do is we'll create our widget. So I'm going to create 2 folders, one called widgets and the other one we'll prep the audio folder. And then inside our widgets folder, we're going to create a new user interface called a widget blueprint. And then just click on user widget. I like to call it WB underscore and whatever name. So we'll do cam health. And now we can simply go into this. And I'm going to dock it in our main window. And let's add a canvas panel. Most widgets, you'll pretty much always add a canvas panel. And then I'm going to add a progress bar. I'm going to make it pretty big. And I'm going to anchor it center. Go back into the anchors, hold control, and hit center. And then go back and hit shift, and then hit center. That way it puts it kind of nice and in the middle. And then for the style, for the background image, I'm going to just set it to rounded box. And then for the fill image, I'm going to set that to rounded box as well. And then we'll just kind of, this will be like our health system for the camera. So when you shoot the camera, a little bar will slide down. Just something simple and basic. We don't need to get too crazy with it for this little series. But then we do have to create a binding. So hit bind, create binding. And in the get percent, you can drag off and do get actor of class. And we'll get a reference to our camera, BP underscore camera. And remember in the last one we created the health system, so we can drag off this and do get health. Now, the progress bar only accepts a value between 0 and 1, as you can see there. So we have to set our return our health value between 0 and 1. Right now we have our health system set at 100, so if like you shoot it and you do 25 damage, that's 75. If you don't do anything to account for that, the health's always basically going to show like full, because 75 is more than 1. So we can drag off this and just hit divide, and we'll divide the value by 100. And then we can plug that value in here, compile and save. And now when we play our game, we got to add our widget. So we have a way to control the health, but we don't have it displayed on the camera. So let's go into our blueprints folder, and under the camera blueprint, we can add a new component and call it, or search for widget. And then we'll just call it widget, and that's fine. And then under the widget properties on the right, for the widget class, you should notice you have a option to select your WB cam health or whatever you called it. And now we can see it. I probably want it above the camera, and this is way too big, so I'm gonna try to size it down. So I think maybe 200 by 50, maybe 25. Yeah, I think that looks good. Now there is an issue with leaving it like this. You'll notice if we compile and save and play our game, the bar is not going to move correctly, and that's because it's still sized in the widget. So we're basically getting like a cropped view of our actual widget. So whatever value or draw size you see that works here, go back into your widget and actually set it to that. So I think it was 200 by 25. So then when you actually play the game, it'll scale correctly and look a little bit better. Now something else we might play around with is you can try childing the widget to the camera body, and then that way the actual health bar will move around with it. That could be kind of fun. Another thing you can do is in the widget we can tell it to stay hidden, or set the visibility I should say. So visible, we can toggle that off. And then in the code, when we actually shoot the camera in the function event you shot me, we can just get a reference to our widget, drag off, set visibility, toggle it on, connect up our execution pins, and then at the end of the widget, we can get another reference, drag off, set visibility, and toggle it off. And for this one, I'm going to connect up 2 execution pins. So I'm going to drag this one too, because I want it to turn the visibility off even if the camera's destroyed. So that way it'll run no matter what. So now you don't see the widget, but if you shoot it, the widget will spawn. If the camera comes back to life, the widget will kind of go away. And then if you shoot it again, it'll come back. And then even if it's destroyed, it'll disappear over time. So yeah, it's just a basic widget system. So now we can give a little bit more life to our game. We can mess around with some audio. I downloaded some sample tracks from freesounds.org, or freesounds.org. So we got some sounds for shooting, some camera sounds, some alarm state sounds. So let's just go ahead and drag and import these in. The Unreal system only works with WAV files, so as long as they're WAV files, they should work. And yeah, so I think the first thing we'll do is we will mess with the shooting. So let's go into our third-person blueprint. And we created some taser fire earlier in the series. After we spawn the bullet, we can just do a play sound 2D. I'm going to pitch the sound, cut it in half, and then laser big shot. We can try that one out. Now this is a sound 2D, so you'll hear this spatially in the game no matter where you are. I'll also show you how to set up 3D sounds using sound attenuators, where you can actually, you know, depending on how close you are to the source, you'll either be able to hear it or not, or you'll be able to hear it more loudly. So let's take a look here. That's kind of fun. We can go back here, and I think the other one I had, laser. Let's try that one. If you like that style. Let's see, we got some elevator. I think those are the only ones I got, so I think I like the big shot more, personally. So I think we'll stick with that one. Oh, that's pretty loud. I think I'll pitch it down maybe to 0.2. Yeah, I think that's a little better. So we'll keep that. All right, so the next sound, let's actually do a 3D sound. We can do a 3D sound on, let's do the doors. Now we created a door left and a door right, so we technically only have to do this on one of them. Because if you play them on both, you're probably going to get some overlapping sound, which is maybe what you want, because you can technically pitch it down, so you could get some interesting effects there. But just for simplicity, I'll just do this under one. To kind of demonstrate this, what we'll do is, let me get so elevator doors opening. So let's grab this one and drag it out. Now I'm going to right click, go to sounds, and create a sound attenuation. Call it SA_door. And then in the view properties, I'm going to tell it to use the sound attenuator right here. And we're only doing this so we can visually see what's happening. So you can see the space is quite large. The inner cone, you're going to hear the volume at 100%, and the outer cone, you're going to hear a drop off of the sound. So I think for this, we're going to spawn the sound at the actual door location. So this is going to be more realistically like right around here. But what this allows us to do is we can open up the sound attenuator, and maybe dock it or undock it right there. And you can play with the inner and outer radius. So like we can go maybe do 700. Actually, let's do 600. Let's make the inner circle a little bit bigger and then make the outer circle a lot smaller. Kind of like that. And it just gives us a way to visually see how it's looking. So let's dock this up here. And now we can actually just delete that reference because we don't need it. Oops. Hopefully I didn't delete anything important there. And now let's actually go into our door. Let's do the door right. Okay, and what we can do is on the alarm state, I'm gonna get rid of these functions here. We will just do a spawn sound at location. We can get a reference to our door, drag off the door and get world location. That gives us a location value. So we can put that in here. Now, if you drag out the volume options, we can give an attenuation setting and give it the door. And the sound that we're gonna play is opening elevator. Yeah, let's do that one. Let's see how that kind of goes. All right, let's try playing it over here. See how that's much louder, and it should also only show up in your right ear. So, but if we get it from farther away, it should be much quieter. And you can play with the ranges, depending on where you are. All right, but that's just the... I think I'm actually going to pitch that down by half too, because I thought it was a little bit too loud. And then we can do the same thing for the all clear. So on the all clear, we can drag off and do spawn sound at location. We can plug in the same reference value for our door. Select the elevator closing. And then sound attenuation, we can use the same one. And then we'll pitch it down by half. All right, let's compile, try that. All right, and then if I go over here, and then if I exit the camera, can't really hear it. So it gives you an example of 3D sound. And then if the values, if they're not far enough, you can go into your attenuator and just increase your radius until you get the profile how you like it. Something basic like that. All right, let's continue that same concept, but we'll do it for the camera system now. So let's actually get an interesting sound for when the camera is kind of scanning. So we can do another sound attenuation, call it SA camera. And for that, I am going to futuristic sound wave. Yeah, I think this is the one. So I'll drag this over here. I'll tell it to use our camera attenuator. It's much too loud or much too wide, so I'm going to open up the camera. I think 400, and I'm probably only going to do 800. So it's much smaller. So yeah, I think I like that. So we can delete our reference. That's a good starting point. And now the way we can do this is under the camera function. We can just do it in the alarm state, I think would work. Actually, you know what we can do is, instead of it only playing like during an alarm, let's play it all the time. So let's play it over in the begin play. So let's drag off where we set our last rotation, and we'll do spawn sound at location. And get a reference to the camera. Get world location. Plug that in there. The sound we're gonna do is the futuristic alarm. No, not the alarm. Security scanning, that's the one. And I am going to leave the volume alone and set the attenuator to the camera. All right, let's see how loud this is. If it is, I'll pitch it down. Oh, it gets really loud. So I think I will pitch that down. It probably needs to be a bit wider too, I think. So I'm gonna pitch the volume in half. And for the attenuator, where did I put that? Camera right here. I'm gonna extend the inner radius to probably 500. And I'm gonna make the outside 1200. There we go. So it's pretty much, you don't hear it over here, but as you get closer, it gets really pronounced. Kind of like that. All right, but I think that's still probably a bit too loud, so whoops, I think I may have froze. Oh, there we go, I'm back. All right, almost crashed there. All right, so I think what we will do is on the camera, I think the camera attenuator is fine, but I think the sound over here, I'm gonna make this really low. May even go even lower than that. Let's see. Yeah, I still think it's too loud. I'm gonna try 0.05. Alright, it's a little bit better. Some of the sounds you might have to mess with or futz with a little bit more just to make them so they're not like overlapping as bad, but you can see it takes a little bit of doing. But yeah. Alright, so we got the camera, and now we can do another attenuator for the alarm state. So let's, we'll use the this alarm light as our reference. So we'll go back into sounds and create another attenuation. SA_alarm is what we'll call it. And we've pretty much been using, I think these values are probably okay. 400, well, that one will probably bump to 500. And we'll put this in our little light bulb. All right, and we can do this after the alarm state. We can drag off this and just do play sound at location. And then play sound, or actually no. If you want to do it this way, actually, because we have to stop the alarm state dynamically. So what you'd want to do is actually do spawn sound at location. Because then you can actually return the value and promote it to a variable, and we can call this the alarm music. And we can drag off our rect light, get world location, and then we can plug that into our reference there. And we can drag off our alarm music and drag off that and do a stop delayed. And then we'll delay it by 3 seconds. And the sound we're gonna play is the futuristic alarm. We'll set up our, oops, can't really see it. We'll set up our attenuation as the alarm. And I'm just gonna pitch this in half because a lot of this stuff is loud. And there you go. I think that's pretty simple, and I think that'll do the job. So let's give it a go and see how this kind of looks. All right, so if I get hit with the alarm. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. You see the alarm plays for a little bit longer after the collision is ended too, so you can do some nice effects with that, but... Now that's a bug too, but I think we'll probably address that in the next one. So what's going on there is the camera is actually detecting the laser gliders, so it's playing that sound really quickly. But yeah, I mean, I think that demonstrates a lot of the main point of this video anyways, was just the added widget and the sound, so... Alright, I think that's pretty much going to complete this video series. I'm probably going to do maybe one more video, but it's just going to be bug fixes and maybe some alternative setups to some of the blueprints. But I think this is a good place to end the series. But yeah, I hope you found some informative value and it helps you out in your own projects. As always, thanks for watching, consider subscribing, and we'll see you on the next one.